What up, bitches? It's the MisanthropikOne, aka He Who Hungers, and I'm back up in this bitch for another rant/review. Today, I want to talk about this album right here. Papoose's long awaited debut called The Nacirema Dream. For those of you who do not know who Papoose is an MC from Brooklyn, New York. This guy dominated the mixtape scene. Actually, we could go back a little bit further. His debut was on Kool G Rap's Roots of Evil CD, and that track was called Home Sweet Funeral Home, I believe the track was called. And Papoose, during the, I want to say the early 2000s, I think it was 2004 was his first like official mixtape. I want to say 2004 till 2007 or 8, he was dominating the mixtape game, coming out with mad mixtapes. This dude has over, I believe, over 20 mixtapes, and you do the math on that. That's approximately, you could say, 7 per year. I think it was in between 2004, latest 2008, I believe. Approximately, don't quote me on the years, but I have just about every one of his mixtapes except like maybe like Art of War, which is his very first one. Shit is hard to get, but this guy was the next big thing. It was him and Saigon that were both on the mixtape circuit and were promised to be the next big thing. And Papoose kept talking about this. The Nacirema Dream is coming, blah, 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 blah. He signed a deal with Jive Records, $1.5 million deal to put the record out. But due to creative differences, they split ways. And it was kind of a win for Papoose because he didn't get to put out a whack album, because from what I gathered, from the stories I was hearing, I think that they wanted him to put out some bullshit hits, and he didn't want to do that. You know, he didn't want to put out fucking corny ass material, whatever. But I'm not too sure on the story. That's what I was hearing. So if anyone knows the real story, leave it down there. But he made off with his $1.5 million. Married Remy Martin from the Terror Squad. Free Remy Ma, by the way. And his buzz died out, you know, because he just stayed fucking quiet after, you know, all these years. And finally, in 2013, we get the Nacirema Dream. Thank fucking God he put this shit out, you know. But it's so late that even I didn't know this shit dropped, you know. And I'm well tuned into hip hop. I didn't even know the shit came out. Honestly, it's not even trying to be funny. He went independent, needless to say, and I guess the promotion kind of sucked on this shit because someone had made a joke about this album coming out, and then I went to FYE and actually found the shit. It came out like a few weeks prior to that joke, so let's get into this shit. Let's get into some of the producers on this bitch. You have Dame Grease, Ron Bros, Ty Sticks, Buck Wild, Heatmakers, C4, Street Runner, Jay and Certified, Dan Dilemma Thomas, Chemist, DJ Premier, Antoine Amadeus Thompson, DJ NU, Schizo, and K Slay. By the way, going back to the history, K Slay is the dude that helped give this guy his push. You know, signed him to K Slay's to his own label, and that's how this guy was getting so much shine and so much radio play during his buzz. So production-wise on this shit, most of the beats are pretty good. There's some beats that I could do without. I'll get into that later on in the review. Let me talk about some of the features on this bitch. You have Mobb Deep, Erykah Badu, Jim Jones, Jadakiss, Remy Ma, Mavado, DJ Premier, Ron Bros, and, well, I'm not gonna name all these guys. He has his group, Thuggication, on here. Well, fuck it, I'll name them. Dada Stone, O-Dog, Manson, Kino, and C Brown. So there's 20 tracks on here. The features are spread out pretty well. There's some of them are posse cuts, like 6 a.m. featuring Jim Jones and Jadakiss. Where I Come From has all the Thuggication on there, so the rest of the features are, you know, there's one here, one there, and that's the way I love it. Y'all know how I feel about a billion features on one fucking CD. The features on here, for the most part, do their thing. I would have taken out Movado and Ron Bros. Those dudes don't do it for me at all on here, but again, I'll explain that later on in this review. All right, let's get into the pros and cons of this album. The pros: if you're a fan of Papoose, like I am, you'll know about his style, how he's the educated thug, and I love how he's able to blend both those styles. Like, he'll put out a gangster song, but yet he'll talk about real ass shit that's going on in society. I fucking love that shit. Like, he'll spit consciousness, yet he can still do the street shit. For example, first couple of tracks on here are pretty much street shit, like Motion Picture, which is a dope display of Papoose's storytelling ability. And then you have Mother Ghetto, you have Aim Shoot featuring Mobb Deep, which the title alone, you can tell what that song's about. Then you got track 6, Cure featuring Erykah Badu. And I love this track so much because Papoose is personifying two deadly diseases. One being AIDS, the other one being cancer. So it's a verse for both, and he's personifying them as if they're living, and what they do to the human body and human life. And that's just fucking amazing. Another dope track I like on here is Law Library Part 8, where Papoose is basically talking about the Stop and Frisk Act, which is going on in cities like New York, where cops could just randomly stop you and frisk you for no apparent fucking reason. And he breaks down the laws and all that shit on here. And, you know, he's very articulate with it. He's not ignorant. I fucking love that shit about him. Let's see what else. Track 15, Turn It Up, featuring DJ Premier. That's an obvious with me. Y'all already know, if you're subscribed to me, y'all know that DJ Premier is my dude. Where I Come From, decent posse cut featuring Thuggication, but one of the greatest highlights on here is Alphabetical Slaughter Part 2. Now, if you're a Papoose fan, you already know that one of his highlights in his career is a song called Alphabetical Slaughter, where he's rhyming words in alphabetical order. Like, in the first Alphabetical Slaughter, he was going A to Z, so a bunch of his bars would contain words that begin with the letter A, then the same thing for B, then the same thing for C, all the way down to Z. On this, on Part 2, what Papoose and K Slade do is they flip it. So this time it's Z to A. And I want to show you something here, because they put it in the insert of the CD. You can see he put the lyrics, Papoose put the lyrics for Alphabetical Slaughter Part 2, Z to A, so you could follow along right here. I think that was pretty fucking cool. And the extra thing about that song is the beat is actually flipped. It's reversed from the original. So that concept on its own is ill, but it's been done already by my man Gifted Gab from Black Alicious. The song was called Alphabet Aerobics or Alphabetical Aerobics. This was done back in 94, 95 or some shit. But check that out. Shout out Gifted Gab. But I love Papoose's take on this shit. I get into some of the cons on here. I would have left off some of the tracks on here, like, which one was it? On Top of My Game featuring Movado. and Get At Me featuring Ron Bros. The beats on those tracks did not fit the whole cohesiveness of the album. It just didn't. Everything on this album basically sounds like a New York album, which it should, because the motherfucker's from Brooklyn. But On Top of My Game really was like a roadblock for me. And same thing with Get At Me featuring Ron Bros. Y'all know how I feel about auto-tune and shit. Ron Bros rides that auto-tune like nobody else. I just think it didn't fit on the album, especially when the hook for the song is so light when Ron Bros is doing it. Not light, but you can't take it seriously because it's supposed to be like, nigga, get at me, but then it's in auto-tune. It's like, it's kind of like a joke. It takes away from the seriousness of the song. But what else? Faith, I love the lyrics on that track, but the beat kind of was like, eh. Same thing with the Thuggication track. As much as I liked it, it was just there, you know? Not that it was totally whack, but it was just, you know, didn't really move me like that. But as far as everything else, it's pretty much good. It was a solid listen. Oh, another con, excuse me, before I end this, another con is, even though it really didn't do much as far as the content on this album, the time it took to release this shit should have came out back in 2008, 2009, you know? But, excuse me, the reason I say it's detrimental to this shit is because a lot of people considered Papoose falling off, you know? And that in itself was detrimental to the release of this shit because, again, like I said in the beginning of this video, I didn't even know this shit dropped. I think I was like a few weeks late past the release date, and I copped this shit. So time kind of wasn't on Papoose's side when it came to releasing this shit. My rating of this album, I give it a 7 to an 8. I think it was a solid listen. Go pick it up. Shout out to my nigga Papoose. Shout out to Remy Ma. Free Remy Martin from jail, motherfuckers. I want another Remy Martin album. And that's it, man. You love Papoose, go out and get this shit. Everybody else, y'all know the deal. Leave your love, leave your hate. Most of all, subscribe. Support dope shit. And that's it. Peace, bitches.